Okay, it's important you have Photoshop running, so if you haven't launched it, launch it. You don't need an image here. I just wanted to show you a preview. This is the deceptively simple layer stack that is used to achieve something like this. But it's really in the settings. It's in how you handle this image. So let's go ahead and work through this. You need to come up to Spotlight and click on it and start typing structured. And Spotlight will jump to the structured app, and then you can just hit return, which launches the app, and then go down. Well, we'll keep it in the dock later on when we get back to Photoshop. These are the settings I used. Now, it's not necessary. I'm going to give you a starter file. Whatever I work on in this project, I'm going to give you the starter file. I hope to get through 2 of them because I want to do both of those examples. So you can come back to this movie, note the timestamp, and you can pull, try to mimic these settings. It's not absolutely necessary, but some things in structured work really well. Some things, not so much. It's like pounding on the keys on a keyboard. Every once in a while you hit a chord and it works great. Otherwise, it just sounds like a jumbled mess. Okay, so the first time you use structured and hit the right arrow, it uses the arrow keys like fine line. So the right arrow generates an image. Once it's running, it generates these images quickly. I can hit the right arrow and the right arrow and the right arrow. So it generates images rather rapidly. And I'm going to go ahead and save this one right here because I like this distribution, and I know images like this quite often, not always, turn out really well. So I'm going to hit the up arrow in order to save this image, and I will give you this starter file. Okay, then I'm going to hit Command Tab and jump over to the Finder where I have already navigated inside. If you see this, I'm inside my Documents folder. Structure Gen generates this. You're going to download this file. And these are the files I've been working on this morning. Go back here to this one, or the ones I saved at least. And I'm going to drop this structured file onto Photoshop. These settings here, make sure the mode is RGB because this will default to grayscale sometimes. RGB is what we want. And 300 pixels per inch. This is a very big document. We're going to make a selection in this very big document and work with that. So you open this up. Sometimes it looks good. Sometimes it's very faint. There's a trick here. This trick does not always work. I'm going to hit Shift-Command-L. And what that does, I'm going to hit Command-Z. Shift-Command-L is under Image, and it is Auto Tone. Like the music. And it drops in the tone. Sometimes this is too intense. And I'll show you that later, but I don't want to make long tutorials that go bird walking. I will show you all the nuanced versions of this. This is the brute force, give me something quick method. And it's not the best method to use. Okay, got it? So now we have this, 10,000 by 6,000 pixel image. But I had a circle in the Instagram post, over here. This is what we want to end up with, is these circles on this white background. So click and hold if you got the rectangular marquee and get the elliptical marquee. And then make sure you change this normal to fixed ratio and set the width and height to 1. Okay? And then I also have done fixed size so I can see how big is 3,000 because that's what I want to shoot for. And right here, this is 3,000 pixels. You can see these dotted lines. So I know I have to make a selection that big, and I hit Command-D to deselect. That big or bigger. And I'm going to click on fixed ratio. It's 1:1. So no matter what I do, I get a circle. And then once I pull this circle out, I can move it around and say, I want these colors over here. These are really sweet. And maybe this selection right here. And, this is hit or miss. And sometimes I have to redo this over and over. But now I want to jump this selection to a new layer. And you do that, Command-J is jump. Command-J. I'm going to end this video here because I ended up cussing because I blew it. We'll come back and finish this next step.